If you recognize this face and this video, welcome to the right side of TikTok. We are on the same algorithm. This is Lauren Matias from the YouTube channel Hidden True Crime. I didn't know who she was about 10 days ago, and now she's all over my feed. I can't escape. I am literally sucked in like a true crime. And maybe this was the goal. Lauren Matias is a former reporter, journalist. Now she has her own YouTube channel where she covers true crime. You know, like the Valo de Bell trial and the Delphi murders and all the ones that we are all obsessed with when we cover this stuff and follow on YouTube. And she usually covers it from an outsider looking in. And now she is part of the story because 12 days ago, as you can see here, 12 days ago, she decided to go live for 9 hours. This is a 9-hour video. Does it say that? I don't even know. No, it doesn't. 9 hours. And it has 422,000 views, but it's 9 hours long where she is talking about how she can't stay silent anymore. I am being stalked and bullied and fear for my safety. Now, when I first saw this, I had never heard of Lauren Matias. I don't know anything about Lauren. I dabble in true crime on my show. So this was shocking to me. Like, oh my God, stalked. Like, that's scary. That's awful. So of course I tuned in for a little bit of it, but 9 hours, like who has the time? So I started to kind of follow other people who were covering it just to get a little more concise version. And what ended up happening was that you kind of just like, as you start to realize, in my opinion, there wasn't a lot of bang for your buck. Like, was the juice worth the squeeze? Where was the gold at the end of the rainbow? Where was the needle in the haystack? I was looking. I was looking real hard. Real hard. See, in my opinion, this 9-hour live that Lauren created about a former coworker / friend named Christina, who has a TikTok account with, at the time, 300 or so followers. Now she has a lot more, of course, because now she's gained notoriety because of Lauren. She was posting vague TikToks about her because it was a friendship gone wrong. And there's layers to it. I talk about it on my show. But Lauren took a story that wasn't, in my opinion, a true version of stalking in the sense of like actual danger, actual worried for my life. She was being maybe harassed online a little bit, but not even using her name, just annoyed by this girl online. This girl had no audience. Lauren, now she has 318,000 subscribers. Like, I would say she has more of an audience. So she made a meal out of the story. I would argue that she created the story for all of us, like me, who had no idea about any of it. Now we know. The problem is that when you create a 9-hour live calling this out, I assume you want people to watch, and I assume you want people to talk about it, but I don't think that you really want people to not side with you. And unfortunately, the internet has taken their side. And it ain't looking good for Lauren, because she created a 9-hour live saying that she's scared for her life, that her 8-year-old son is scared for her life, and he won't eat, and that her husband is struggling with major health issues. And the story is so convoluted. I go into more detail on my YouTube show and my podcast, but
their name, just as long as their first initial is the same as their name. Sometimes I just snap at my assistant when I want her attention. I just go, snap, snap. You there in the corner, assistant producer.
As you know, Lauren Matias has basically been through hell. She's the host of True Crime with her.
Do you know, Lauren Matias has basically been through hell. Hell on earth, ladies and gentlemen. Lauren Matias has been through hell on earth. You report on people being murdered, Trisha and Lauren. I started watching Lauren when she was reporting on the Delphi murder case, a case of 2 little girls who were murdered and abused prior to their murder when they went for a walk in this public park area that has a bridge. in Indiana. I saw these little girls' parents come in and out of court, a grandmother. They had seen pictures of the bodies, one which was basically fully nude. That's hell on earth. That's been through hell. That's horrific. And you're going to use the same terminology, Trisha, that you might use to describe, I don't know, an abduction of a baby, a mother going through hell on earth, wondering where her child is. To describe somebody making mean TikTok videos about, I don't know, is she a millionaire, Lauren? With a huge social media following? Travels all around, goes out to dinner, been through hell on earth? Hell on earth. Lauren's a tall woman. Someone was wearing socks in a bar. They're going to reveal the nasty emails that you wrote, Lauren? Hell on earth? I don't think so. I think they need to stop, as my thumbnail says, using these phrases and terms like horrific, hell on earth. True crime isn't pretty. Reporting on it and trying to make it pretty doesn't work. Honesty, compassion, and truth work. Not making digestible or viral. They're in the wrong dang genre. I agree. No, it's not. I tried to watch some of the Daybell and Delphi case, but I couldn't. I just couldn't, Amy says. But I know how horrific they were. Comparing them to Lauren is disgusting, and takes from the victims. Absolutely. I don't necessarily think they're comparing those two. I'll give them that. But they're using the similar words. Like, if you're going to use the word horrific or hell on earth to describe this situation with Lauren, what words are you going to use to describe the true crime cases of people losing their lives, young people, children, innocent people being killed in some of the worst ways possible? We got to be careful about our words, as creators. We have to really be sensitive to what it is that we're doing and what it is that we're saying and the words we use. You can't use the same words because it then minimizes the real life horrors that victims of crimes have gone through, the fear that they endured. It's awful. Before I criticize Lauren and John, maybe watch Lauren on Mormon Stories before I criticize them, says Philly Flavor. Philly Flavor, okay, before you come on my chat and criticize me, go back and watch my live streams where I talk about watching and talk about Lauren on Mormon Stories and her whole story. Before you come in my chat criticizing me for not watching something that I've watched and talked about watching on a live stream, do your research, darling. Bailey, somebody's being mean to me in my chat and it's horrific. Lauren does a terrific job and is very kind. Well, let me tell you something, Philly Flavor. I was a fan of Lauren. I was a fan. I called myself a fan. I was subscribed to her. I watched her coverage. I was especially with the Delphi case, because it was a case that had taken a long time to get to court, right? Many years to actually, with the investigation, and they had two different sheriffs. And I watched her because I found her to be talented and engaging. And she still is those things. She's still engaging. She still is talented. I'm not one of these people who sees people as all good and all bad. I don't. Frankly, she could go report on another true crime case right now, and I would probably find it the same way. Interesting, engaging, and everything, and having talent. However, she's done something shitty. No, I won't stop. What are you going to do if I don't stop? It's free speech. Let me ask you this, Philly Flavor. Do you think, this is a serious question, do you think, because I'm going to play here, it wasn't just Trisha who described the situation of Lauren's alleged stalker as horrific. Grayson comes on and uses the word horrific. And then in the 9-hour live stream, Lauren uses the term horrific. I'm going to play all of that today. Do you think that the use of the term horrific, a word you might use to describe any of the horrible true crime cases where people lost their lives, is appropriate? Is it appropriate to use the term horrific to describe this alleged stalking case with Lauren? Yes or no? Did you criticize Lauren on Mormon Stories? No, I did not. Okay, I'm going to answer your question and you answer my question. You asked, did I criticize Lauren on Mormon Stories? No. I said Lauren is a complex person, as many people are. People are complex. I don't see people as all good and all bad. And a lot of people want you to be one side or another. Are you for this or against this? Which side are you on? You have to be all or nothing. I'm not all or nothing about people in general. There can get to be a point where I am they haven't done anything really redeeming in a while. I'm not. I said Lauren is a complex person with a long history in life and experiences which influence, who she is today. She's gone through a lot in her life, which can help her be sensitive to victims. But also, she's been able to be very successful as a true crime reporter, which is not an easy genre to be in. I even had that guy, Joe Schmo, in my chat, and he talked about her cutting him in line at the Delphi case. And I said to Joe Schmo, I said, well, Joe, journalism is a dog-eat-dog world, right? Unfortunately, sometimes, when reporters are fighting to get the scoop or the story or the first to report something, they got to elbow people. And sometimes people can be harsh on women who display the exact same behavior as men, and they'll call them, So I'm answering, said, I found it interesting, and I learned more about her. And it added to me understanding Lauren and her complexities as an individual. I don't fault Lauren for crying. I cry on, what did I say? It's about 60% of my videos on a live stream. At some point, I might start to cry. I don't fault her for getting upset. I don't fault her for crying, having emotions. There are people who will fault her for having emotions, not me. I don't say that because if I think she's wrong on this situation, that she was terrible at her reporting in the Delphi case. No, she wasn't. She was good. She was engaging. She has talent. There's a reason why she has 300,000 subscribers, right? So Lauren feels, all right, so is this your answer to my question? Lauren feels in danger and threatened for her family's lives. So to her, it feels horrific to them. So yes. Okay. Do not think that it minimizes the word when she uses it now to describe people who have been murdered, children who have been murdered, like the Idaho 4 cases. Horrific. It was horrific crime scene. What they endured was horrific. Should we use the same kind of terminology? Is it really horrific? Just because you feel in fear or you feel a crime has been committed against you does not mean that a crime has been committed against you. And it does not mean that your fear is reasonable or rational to the situation. Maybe her fear stems from being exposed and not actually fear of her life. She actually think Christina was capable in her socks in the bar of taking her life at that moment with all those people around. She said she felt in fear of her life. You think that's a rational, reasonable, logical assessment of the situation that was actually occurring at CrimeCon? You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you feel that way doesn't mean it is that way, because people can blow things out of proportion. So I expect a little bit better of those people who call themselves and are true crime creators, especially with huge platforms of people. Hundreds of thousands of people are watching her. It minimizes and diminishes real victims of crimes, because she is not the victim of a crime. She's not the victim of a crime. Okay? Welcome to stay in my chat. But don't come in here having never watched me because you Googled, you did on the search bar, Lauren Matias, and saw this, never seeing any of my videos, not knowing anything about me, who I am, my sensitivity, what I've said in the past about Lauren, that I have. It took me days of hearing and seeing evidence to come around to, you know what, there might be something to this. Go look at my earlier videos. I was defending her at first until I saw evidence that showed that she was actually not telling this whole story and omitting information. And omitting information, by many standards, including my own, is lying. Purposefully omitting information that is pertinent is akin to lying.